Today we will cover day 2 of the Roman Republic lessons. Yesterday we covered day 1, in which we covered how the small city of Rome became a Roman Republic. We also discussed what a Roman Republic was, and we wrapped up yesterday with the distinctions between the patricians and the plebeians. Today we're going to talk about the 4 main categories of the Roman government, and we're going to wrap up today with the compromise that was come up with between the patricians and the plebeians for equal rights. Let's start today with the 4 main categories of Roman government. The top group in the Roman government is dictator. Dictator is one person who has almost absolute power. The second group is consul. Consul are 2 men. It's always the top government official, 2 chosen every year, head of the army and the government. The consul also have veto power. What veto power basically stood for, and stands for still to this day, is if this consul group does not like what the Senate or the Assembly comes up with, then they can veto it. Either make it null and void, make it no more, or make them have to rewrite it completely. Now, the group that was primarily responsible for the proposing of these laws that could be vetoed and could not be vetoed was known as the Senate. The Senate were 300 men, served a life term. This group advised the consul, which is basically gave them opinions about what it should and should not do. Also, they dealt with other countries, they proposed laws, and they dealt with daily government problems. This would be the equivalent to today's House and Senate in government in U.S. and North Carolina government. The final group is the Assembly. This is the regular person. These are citizen soldiers. These are voting assembly. This is where power comes slowly in Rome and throughout the world when you're talking about this bottom group. The first step is toward democracy for the assembly. This government is the first step to the modern government. Now, we're going to wrap up today's lesson with the compromise that was come up with between the patricians and the plebeians about equal rights. The plebeians had had enough of the patricians ruling Rome. They felt like they wanted an equal part in government instead of, oh, we'll listen to you, and they really wouldn't. Plebeians eventually go on strike for more say in government. They leave the farms and the army to go sit in the farms. Now what that basically means is the plebeians go off the farm. That means there's nobody providing food anymore. Leave the army. Means nobody's protecting Rome anymore. To go sit in the farm. The patricians understand they can't live like this for long. If there's nobody providing food, there's nobody protecting Rome, then they've got to come up with a compromise. So they do. Patricians compromise and pass a serious code of law called the 12 Tables. They were harsh laws, but they were equal to both groups. They were as close to equal as they could get for the compromise. Now we'll talk more about this 12 tables in class here today, but understand that they were harsh laws for both groups, but they were equal laws. 12 tables, it was due to the plebeians going on strike and making the patricians compromise. So today we have talked about 12 tables. We have also talked about the 4 main groups of government: dictator, consul, senate, and assembly, and what each group does and what makes up each group. This ends today's lesson on the Roman Republic number 2.